Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. This is going to be a Cardano update video. We're going to cover quite a few things. In this one, we will look at the price. We're going to be discussing some things happening within Cardano and its ecosystem. We're going to kick things off by just clarifying a little bit about the Vasil hard fork. Now, I've had many people asking me what is going on with this. To break it down very short and sweetly, the hard fork has indeed been delayed. We were supposed to get it on the 28th of June. It was then pushed to the last 2 weeks in July. It's now looking like more than likely we're going to be looking to August, potentially September. You know, we don't really have a clear date. There's a set of criteria that essentially has been given that needs to be met before we enter a kind of proposal to give a 4-week leeway to, or run up, I should say, to the actual hard fork. But for now, there's no clear date. And really what they're doing is, trying to make sure that they've done it right before shipping it. And there's a good reason for this. You've got to understand, when they hard fork the chain, everything that's built on that chain and all the users get affected by it. So they do not want to rush such a critical upgrade. And we know that they're having some issues with bugs. They're smoothing them out. I will play a clip from the 360 event just explaining this and sort of a little bit about the criteria. There were some great things to come out of the 360 event. The Babel fees is one that I'm really excited about. Essentially, Cardano is looking to implement something that will allow you to pay fees in whatever native Cardano token or Cardano token it is that you hold. This is absolutely great. So on Ethereum, one of my pet peeves was, if ever I was using any of the dApps on Ethereum, I'd have to hold ETH to pay the gas fees. Whereas with Cardano, essentially what the Babel fee sort of add-on is essentially going to do is allow you to be able to pay fees in any native Cardano token, and they take care of the sort of transactions behind the scenes. So we will play this clip. We will talk a little bit about the price. Consistently getting, bullish news in regards to the price on Cardano. I happen to think that ultimately, I have lower prices for ADA, something we've maintained over a while now. We got how 2022 was going to start wrong. We thought the bull run was going to continue. It didn't. We've since then really adjusted our stance, paid a lot of attention to the macro situation, and really that is dominating everything right now. And in regards to Cardano's price, we're not going to see a raging bull market for ADA until we see markets sort of gain access to liquidity, which has been very aggressively taken off the table now. I speak daily on the kind of macro situation. I'm sure many of you follow those daily crypto market updates, where we don't just cover the cryptocurrency market, we cover a variety of things. But does that mean that I'm not bullish on ADA? I am unbelievably bullish on Cardano. It's one of the few cryptos that I still hold, even though we're predominantly in stable coins right now. I do still have exposure to crypto, just in case I'm wrong. And Cardano is, and has always been, quite a large part of that, and is going to continue to do so, because just like in 2017, we're now in 2022, it is still around, it is still a top 10 cryptocurrency, and it's going to be that well into the future. And we've got so many great things coming around the corner. You've got to remember that this year, we've only started to see dApps actually deploy on top of ADA. It is a very, we're at a very early and critical stage of Cardano's development. When we think about blockchain and we think about it being a technological revolution, it's not just going to happen overnight, but when it does happen, many of you are going to be going, oh, I wish I had took the kind of opportunity back then to be an investor, to learn about this kind of, to learn about this blockchain and everything associated with it. So we know that we've had the Byram era, we have the Shelley era, the Goguen era was the prior one where we tackled smart contracts. And of course, now we are in the Basho era, which is tackling scalability. This Vasil hard fork is just one way that we're tackling it. We've got the likes of Mithril, we've got the likes of Hydra, which is essentially a layer 2. We spoke about the 3 Hydra heads and everything associated with that. But right now we're looking towards the Vasil hard fork, which does indeed look like it has now been delayed. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes in October. Does that bother me at all? No, absolutely not. Because at the end of the day, guys, we're in a, and Cardano has never rushed to market in order to kind of appease price. Whereas you get lots of people that will rush things out in a bull market so they can get the price appreciation. We've often seen that backfire. We've seen some real issues with a lot of other blockchains out there. Cardano has never done that. They've always done things slow and steady. We all know the proverb of the hare and the tortoise. And I think this is, Cardano's tail, essentially, the hare and the tortoise. But we'll play this clip. We'll dive into a little bit of the price action. I'll give you a general update. We'll talk about this. Cardano ADA generates a weekly bullish divergence for the second time in history. So I'll take a look at what they're talking about here. You know, I'm not personally seeing it. I do use the RSI frequently. One thing that I will stress is, and we spoke about this on our Bitcoin update, and we reiterate this consistently, this downtrend is very much still intact. Whether you look at it from a oscillator point of view, an indicator point of view, whether you look at it from an open interest point of view, the downtrend that we're currently in the bear market is still very much confirmed. And a bullish divergence, we, you know, haven't really had yet, but we will cover that. So let's just play a little bit of an update from the actual input output team, or IOHK, talking about the Vasal hard fork and where we're currently at with it.
Can't make it to the recording today, but in his place is Javier from the delivery team. Kevin, let's start with you. There's been quite a lot of activity around the node in recent days.
Absolutely, Tim. So, as usual, the team has been working really hard to deliver the benefits of the Vasal hard fork to the community. And the good news is that this week we've just tagged a new 1.352 release that fixes some issues that we found. And we're doing the final testing and benchmarking on that right now. So 135.2, we're slating as a release for testnet only. It fixes some issues that stake pool operators, dApp developers, internal testing, and other people have identified. And the goal is it will flush out any final issues as we go to the Vasal hard fork.
So you get the gist. You know, they're still finding bugs. They don't want to ship just yet. There was some criteria essentially put in place in regards to what they'd need to see before they sort of implement a 4-week run-up into the Vasal hard fork. You can see here that essentially they're talking about they need 80% of exchange to complete integrations by liquidity. They need SPOs. They need around about 75 SPOs to update the final version of the node before they go ahead and do this. And this is once they've sort of flushed out the bug. So it's not going to be this month. It's not going to be August, I don't think. I think it's likely going to be September, unless they literally do it within the next couple of days and initiate the proposal. It's likely going to be in sort of September. I think potentially you may even see it in October. At the end of the day, guys, I've been waiting nearly 2 years, or over 2 years now, for the Ethereum merge, Ethereum 2.0, or whatever they're now calling it. You know, this is nothing new when you're dealing with software, and ultimately it's something that you want to do right the first time and not have to suffer the repercussions after. So it doesn't bother me in the slightest. In regards to the price, you know, just covering this article, I always keep up to date with sort of any of the articles or the news floating around for ADA. Constantly this sort of news. Ultimately, guys, what you got to understand with Cardano at the moment is it's driven by the wider liquidity, not just for crypto, but markets generally, you know, the kind of financial sector. And it's very tied to that. Does that mean Cardano is a garbage project or any of the kind of criticism that gets held at it? Absolutely not. But we need, in order for us to now enter a bull market, the entire space and really the entire risk on asset class to enter that kind of a period. And that doesn't come, in my opinion, until we see the need for it to. And what I mean by that is I think things have to get worse before they get better, for the Fed to pivot, etc., etc. We speak about this daily on our channel. But we did see a real nice sort of price appreciation. The problem is, and we spoke about this the other day, is that we've seen it previously. In regards to your 200 weekly moving average, you are now coming up and hitting your head above it. I do have lower prices, and it's something that I've spoke about from $1 sub. We weren't the first to sort of get out the cryptocurrency market. But, you know, when I'm wrong, I'll admit it and I'll adjust accordingly. And that's kind of what we're doing. You know, I still hold ADA, but it's, you know, it's something that I'm not looking to buy here until I see the opportunity that I'm looking for. And the real reason is in regards to risk to reward. Is there more reward to getting in here or more risk? And the answer for me is more risk. And it has nothing to do with Cardano as a project or really the crypto space, more the kind of general economy. And that's just my thoughts on the issue. In regards to this article talking about a bullish divergence, I think they're very much cherry picking here. They're looking at the RSI, which of course is this. Bullish divergence is when you have lower lows on the price chart, but a higher low on the RSI. Potentially you do have that. Could you see some sort of an uptick here? You could, but you also had one over here. You know, it's not that uncommon. You know, you had one here, you could say. Ultimately, though, You know, this is very much an intact downtrend, and the price really is driven from overall liquidity that, you know, doesn't seem to be, you know, it doesn't seem to, that situation doesn't seem to be sort of changing anytime soon. You've got your money flow index. You could say maybe you're sort of running out of steam to the downside. The problem is, for me, I think there's that kind of final capitulation event, accumulate and distribute index, still very much downtrend. You know, you can't really just cherry pick and base your investment thesis off of one indicator. You need a basket of things to really increase your probabilities of being right, not just from an investment point of view, but a trading point of view. And, you know, we trade these markets daily, and also have been investing in them for the last nearly 5 years now. Still lots of things happening within the ecosystem. Still an ecosystem that I pay a lot of attention to. I still actually farm on lots of the dexes, provide liquidity. I'll be taking part in the borrowing and lending side of things. I'll be taking part in the stablecoin side of things. You know, there's lots coming. And in regards, whilst I've mentioned stablecoins, you know, we're not going to get, I think Jed had made it very simple, or Coty that had made it very sort of clear that they weren't going to launch Jed until this hard fork was out. So I think you're going to see a lot of projects sort of put their release on hold until we do have the hard fork. Once we do have that hard fork, remember, be prepared. It could even be October that it comes out. I don't think it's going to be this month, probably September, maybe October, could even be longer. But I think you're going to have a lot of projects that are going to wait for that before they release. Once that happens, you are going to see a DeFi explosion for the Cardano ecosystem, in my opinion, just with a thing like a native stablecoin, which actually involves locking up ADA. It's all very bullish for the network. And you know, price will catch up with it eventually, in my opinion. Certainly when the kind of sun and spotlight shifts back upon the cryptocurrency market space. And it will happen, guys. No doubt in my mind that this is a technological revolution. Into the future, we're going to be using blockchain in the same way that we use the internet, a PC, drive our cars, the motoring industry, you know, etc., etc. Very quickly, guys, bit of self-promotion. I do have a stake pool, and we are committed to continue to run a stake pool no matter what happens. You know, this is a blockchain that I care about. It's always been a long-term dream of mine to actually be a validator within the Cardano network and actually help to run it. That is indeed what I am doing. For those of you that want to join the stake pool or look for a stake pool to stake to, we're consistently minting blocks. We haven't missed one for a long time now. ALLIN is the ticker, and it is the official ALLIN crypto stake pool. That is all I've got for you in this video, guys. If you enjoyed the content, like us, always appreciate it as a comment, and look forward to seeing each and every one of you in the next YouTube video. Thanks a lot for watching, ladies and gents.